Welcome back to Recliner Gaming. Today we're going over the top 5 Halo 2 maps that should be remade for Halo Infinite. We've already went over the top 5 maps for Halo Combat Evolved, so if you haven't seen that, I'll make sure to leave it down in the description for you. Now, picking the top 5 maps for Halo 2 was actually a lot harder than I thought it would be. There's 20 original maps in all to look at, and trust me, any one of them will be good enough to be in the top 5. And if you were lucky enough to grow up playing these maps online in multiplayer, then you really were in the golden age of map design. Halo 2 had several key design choices that improved the maps from the Combat Evolved multiplayer. Starting with my favorite addition is the interactive environments, and there's so much that goes unappreciated that just isn't in Halo Infinite right now. In some of the maps in Halo 2, they have conveyor belts that slowly rotate cover around the map. There's doors, gates, and bridges to activate or open to create really good attack or defense maps. And either team can use these to open up areas or close them off for their own advantage. And then my favorite part of all the different interactive environments is the little things you can knock around the map and mess with, from boxes and crates to barrels and barricades. All these little things can really change the flow of the map. And just for like a quick example, on Uplift, you can knock the Covenant crates over to block vehicles or just to add some cover on the bridge. And Halo 2 also did have 5 remakes from Halo Combat Evolved, but don't forget that the top 5 series will only be looking at original maps from each Halo. So these 5 remakes won't be in the top 5 this time. They already had their chance in Halo Combat Evolved. And then the last thing to mention about Halo 2 maps design is its top-notch competitive and balanced maps. Halo 2 is where we first started to see a smaller asymmetrical map design that were kind of laid out initially to be used for competitive play. Most of these maps I'm talking about have a circular shape with a focused center area, usually holding the power weapon. And even though most of these maps are fan favorites, I'm only picking one of these for my top 5. So to start off the top 5, we have Sanctuary. You also might know Sanctuary from its Halo remake Asylum or the Halo 2 anniversary version Shrine. I think what puts Sanctuary above all the other asymmetrical maps I mentioned earlier is its size. It's just big enough where you have time to rotate and breathe, and then there's also more than 1 or 2 spots where all the action happens. Generally, there's an intense battle in the middle for the sword, but you can easily avoid this area and go around the edges and grab shotguns or other power weapons, or use the rocks to sneak around and have different angles from there. And what I'm trying to say is this map feels like it gives you a ton more options than the other competitive maps do. Most of the other ones that are in the same category as this one, you either go left, right, or middle, and most of the fight is happening right there in the middle. But Sanctuary does give you plenty of variety, and it caters to different kinds of playstyles. Now onto the second map on the list, we have Ascension. This map does have a very unique shape to it. Each side or rotation lane has its own pros and cons, making for very fun and balanced gameplay. And almost every part of the map does have a power weapon, unlike some of the Halo Infinite maps. And then the rocket spawn with the man cannon up to the center of the map adds a lot of fun and chaos. And it's also always nice to see some sort of vehicle added into the smaller 4v4 maps. And with adding this map into Halo Infinite, you can easily replace the Banshee with the Wasp. Next on the list, we have Headlong. It's one of the rare big team battle maps that always feels like a smaller 4v4 map. It's super fun to try and maneuver a Warthog around, and it never feels like you're in a dull, boring spot on the map. And if you could add in the grapple hook from Halo Infinite, then the routes you could come up with are nearly endless. And as everybody knows, Halo Infinite is really lacking on the big team battle maps. I think there's only 3 of them. So I really do think it could benefit from adding Headlong, so I'm hoping to see it soon. Now to bring in the number 4 spot, we had to cut out a lot of good maps. I really wanted to go with the classic Ivory Tower because of all the time I played it on its Halo Reach version, Reflection. But when I loaded up Turf, I knew instantly it was going to be in the top 5. So Turf did take the 4th spot from Ivory Tower. It just gives a little bit more variety of gameplay and honestly a little bit more uniqueness to its map design. And I'm always more of a fan of the medium-sized maps that include some vehicles. And this map just almost nails all that design perfectly. It's got some tight alleyways to get away from the Warthog or Ghost if you're getting chased. And there's plenty of odd places to climb up and surprise the other team. This would be a great map for Oddball, or even if they add Infection, it might be the perfect Infection map. I'm honestly surprised this map hasn't been remade in more Halos. There's not many maps out there in Halo that incorporate vehicles with the close quarter combat playstyle, so I think this map would be a lot of fun to add into Halo Infinite's roster. Now to finish off Halo 2's top 5 maps, we have the best map that's ever been made in any Halo game, and that's Zanzibar. You can basically play any game mode on this map and have a blast. It's just big enough for larger lobbies, but also small enough to play split screen back in the day. Usually there's a big fight for the 2 power weapons up in top mid. There's snipers on both sides of the map, plenty of fusion coils to throw around and shoot. There's gates and bridges to activate. You can race around the map if you want. I mean, the map literally has everything. And it was also only made better in the Halo 3's remake, Last Resort. So I would love to see how much better they can make this map in Halo Infinite. I mean, if there's one map I'd really like to see remade out of every Halo game, it's this one. I really think it'd be amazing with Halo Infinite's new playstyle, throw in fusion coils, vehicles. I mean, everything would be great on this map in Halo Infinite. Let's just hope and pray they at least remake this one. And if not, we got 4 other great maps they can pick from. But yeah, that's going to wrap up the top 5 Halo 2 maps that need to be remade in Halo Infinite. We'll be going over Halo 3's top 5 maps next, so make sure to subscribe to see when that video goes live. And if you're interested in some of our more short form content, make sure to check out our shorts here on YouTube or our TikTok page. And thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.